Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!
What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path viable build on Warframe. This is going to be for Fang Prime, this is a rebuild. Let's get into this. Right, okay, so, Fang Prime is one of my all-time favourite melee weapons on Warframe. It's such a solid weapon, and with the release of a bunch of the new Galvanized mods, as well as the arcanes, I wanted to rebuild it because it can be a lot stronger than it was. So this is my build. Also though, for those watching on Christmas Day 2024, Merry Christmas Day. Hopefully you guys have a really good day. I am planning to myself. I actually removed a mod because I was doing a ribbon. There we go. Alright, so we're running Spinning Needle as the aura mod, or stance mod. So the stance is Swift Stabs, Twisting Slashes. We've got Prime Pressure Point for 165% melee damage, Galvanized Steel for 110% critical chance at ×2 for heavy attacks, on melee kill plus 30% critical damage for 20 seconds stacks to 4 times, Prime Breach for 2.7% range. Mine's not max ranked yet because I still need to form one of my other weapons that has it on to get it to max rank. Blood Rush, 40% critical chance, stacks for combo multiplier. This works very well with Galvanized Steel as well as Galvanized Reflex. Organ Shatter for 90% critical damage. We've got Galvanized Reflex for 50% heavy attack efficiency and on melee kill plus 20% initial combo for 20 seconds stacks up to 4 times. Vicious Frost for 60% cold and 60% status chance, and Virulent Scourge for 60% toxin and 60% status chance. Now the cool thing is with the new Galvanized mod and Blood Rush, they all work congruently. So, you've got the start of it with Galvanized Steel, which gives you 110% critical chance, and then doubles it for heavy attacks. And then on melee kill, gives you 30% critical damage for 20 seconds stacks to 4 times. So not only does this give you critical chance, but also gives you a bunch of critical damage. Then you got Blood Rush, which is 40% critical chance, stacks with combo multipliers. The more combo multiplier you have, the more critical chance you have. That then links to Galvanized Reflex, which on melee kill, 20 plus initial combo for 20 seconds stacks up 4 times, meaning you already start with higher critical chance naturally because of the higher combo. So this works with that, that works with that. And then Organ Shatter works with all of it, giving you extra critical damage. And then, of course, we're running Viral as our main element on this build, because Viral also works very well with Slash, and it works very well with critical hits. Now, we've got a base critical chance of 54.6 times, but that does not account for Blood Rush, which is why it goes way higher. With a base critical multiplier of 4.9 times, but this does not account for Galvanized Steel boost. 57.2% status chance, we're running Viral, like I said, and that's basically it for the build. So let's jump to the mission. Oh yeah, quickly, the arcane actually. We're running Melee Animosity, rank 5 on melee hit, gain 42% critical chance on your next heavy attack, up to 420%. This can be very useful for Eximuses, as you will see in the mission, but let's get into the mission. I'll show you what this thing can do. Alright, so we're on Oxymoko in the Void, and as per normal, I'll quickly go over why we're here. So Oxymoko is in the Void, and because it's in the Void, you're dealing with some of the latest game enemies on the Steel Path. Not to mention you're dealing with the Corrupted, and the enemies with the corrupted enemies will have enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with health and high armor, giving you a more varied example of what your weapon / Warframe can do. Another quick thing is, if you're looking for a build that's going to get you to max level cap on Steel Path, which is level 9,999 enemies, this probably will not do that, but it will get you through the Steel Path. That's why it's called a viable build. Let's get in. So I'm going to activate Gloom, my Necros build, and then we're going to start slicing away. And as you can see, we are already absolutely melting them. Now, Fang Prime is a really good weapon with these mods on purely because of how hard it hits critical-wise. It hits pretty darned hard. You can also swap Prime Breach out for either Corrupted Charge to get more initials, or you can do it for, I remember the name of the mod, the one that gives attack speed. You can use that one too. But I prefer Primed Reach because you get a bit more range on Fang Prime. Since they're dual daggers, you don't really get a lot of range. That's why I prefer them. Also, to point out, we're not getting any kind of artificial melee boost from our Warframe or anything. None of his abilities impact melee damage or speed or anything whatsoever, and neither does the mod setup. My Necros build is on my channel, so feel free to look at that if you want proof of the fact it's not being artificially boosted. Normally for my viable builds, if I'm doing like a primary or secondary weapon, I'll use Atlas Prime because he's very tanky. But my Atlas Prime runs Steel Charge, which is why I'm not using it for this, because it would artificially inflate the damage, which is precisely what I'm not doing with. That's why I use Necros for melee builds, for those wondering. And of course, as per normal, I will stay in long enough to get to the Acolyte so you guys can see what this does to an Acolyte. Spoiler alert, it works really well. Like, this absolutely shreds Acolyte. And with the inclusion of the new galvanized mods for melee, or at least the newer galvanized mods for melee, we're, well, suffice it to say, melee is now again the new meta because, well, melee just does a lot more. And with the inclusion of melee arcanes as well. With the inclusion of melee arcanes, melee is just once again top tier. To be fair, it always was, but like, primary and secondaries are still really good to use now too. I love the fact that Steel Path is just becoming infinitely more accessible to a lot more players too. Because more and more weapons are becoming even more viable thanks to new mods or new arcanes, which is really cool. Oh hell, one of my favorite weapons to use is a Tomos, and that's such an early game weapon for most players. It's Mastery 4, I believe, so it's pretty early on you can get it. As you can see, we are constantly hitting crits primarily because of how high the combo multiplier goes, even when it reverts. Because if I let this run down in a minute, it'll go to 5 times because of our mod setup. So it'll stay on 5 times for a little bit. Of course, it will go down to 0 eventually if you do not do attacks, so you do want to make sure you attack things. But it will stay for at least a little bit. So you have more than enough time to start attacking more enemies. But of course, we're pretty consistently hitting critical hits, which is exactly what we want to be doing. This is primarily a crit build, thanks to our mod setup. The cool thing is as well, for most melee weapons, that... Ouch. That also can happen if you're running Necros, though. Oof, duh. I hate Lancer Eximus, and now I'm going to quickly rebuild, but that's not a problem. It'll take me a minute, but... If I quickly run back in, take out a standard enemy, one enemy will be enough. Because with one enemy gone, that will increase our combo multiplier, which is exactly what we want. And then, of course, you get extra critical damage over a set amount of time. So you'll see even getting wrecked in one shot doesn't particularly matter too much, because we can just jump back in and boom. Easy clap. But I do prefer using Atlas Prime primarily because he is a tank, but I can use Necros absolutely fine, and be fine if you die, which is very nice. I mean, there wasn't really much I could do to prevent that, so... I mean, I guess I could have tried to prevent it a bit more by using Shadows of the Dead, but... I mean, whoops. That's a thing. To be fair, on Steel Path, I don't normally actually use Shadows of the Dead, because I don't normally need to, but... It also shouldn't take too long for the Acolyte to spawn in either. Because the amount of enemies we've been absolutely ruining with this build. Right, I am going to quickly go through, though, because... There we go. Right, the Acolyte cometh. So... Oh, no, you don't. I don't do Jade Eximuses, they suck. Get out of here. Alright, let's go. So, we got Mania. Right, shields are gone. And as you can see, we've already started with our viral combo. Critical chance, and boom, gone. Just like that, Acolyte has been absolutely destroyed. Now, think about this. With a higher combo multiplier, you'll get him out even quicker. I literally it only took like 5 seconds because I died. Because I don't have a higher combo multiplier. If you've got like a max combo multiplier, you'll take him out in 2 hits. Like maybe 3 if you use... If it's 2 hits if you use just heavy attacks. 3 if you use normal and heavy. So you will absolutely destroy Acolytes with this build. But let me know what you think about this build in the comments down below. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further completely free by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feeds, more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, then feel free to join me on Twitch. That link is in the description below.